You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. You're here with Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
Good to see you guys.
In a month.
We don't
Give or
take we don't take many breaks, but we took one this time. It's too busy. Too much stuff going on.
Exactly. Pop culture waits for no man. And I feel like we've been steamrolled by it. So we got a lot to talk about, and it's all really old. So
yeah,
tune in. Get excited. What did you guys do on this extended break? What have you been up to?
I worked. It was great. I worked so much.
Memorial Day sale.
How do you feel about mattresses?
I'm sick of mattresses. I worked so much. I didn't even get to go to free comic book day.
Everybody else loves mattresses.
I think Justin was busting to talk some Disney. I think you let him down.
I hate that. He's getting ready to go. I
hate that.
I hate that.
Oh, he's going?
Yeah, he's got a trip right around the corner, down to Florida, and this is his big trip. He's been waiting 2.5 years on, and there's all kinds of stuff happening down there, and it's the state of Florida versus Disney, and
he's gonna go whip him into shape.
That's right. And in fact, that weekend, that day, free comic book day, a lady came into my store. And she bought a mattress.
Whoa.
And imagine that. That's not the point. And
you're like, get this out of here. I hate it.
We got to talking. And she was telling me she was she needed delivery really soon because she was getting ready to go on an Alaskan cruise. And we got to talking about this and that and da-da-da. And she says, she worked at the local college here. And she said, yeah, before I did that, I was a teacher down at Lower Salem. And I said, I know some people from there.
Right.
I think I can probably name who that was.
And of course, my wife went there too. And we started talking about this and that. And she says to me, she looked at me, and she goes, I could have sworn I saw Justin Lowe today. And I was like, I bet you did.
Did she go to Tudor's Biscuit World? Because that has become Justin's tradition. He comes down here, yes, to help, to see family, but he goes to Tudor's Biscuit World the morning of free comic book.
Well, I don't know if she did, but she told me she drove by the
that
comic
was her
book.
best. That would have been her best chance to see him.
She said she drove by the comic book store and she could have
She thought she saw him. Oh, that's funny.
She saw him out there. And I said, by God, you did.
I'll bet that was
crazy.
Carol. I would bet my own mattress that was Carol.
I was just thinking you should do like a I hate mattresses sale. Like that.
Get them out of here.
That would be a cool. Get these. I hate these mattresses. And put a big sign out there and everything, and like do the TikToks of that. Like I hate these mattresses. This it's mattress. Get off of it. And, like make a face at it. That'd be awesome.
It'd be good. That's an idea.
Split that to corporate.
Nobody else is doing it. I guarantee that.
Just start doing it and see if corporate picks up on it. They're like, "Well, you really sold a lot of mattresses this month."
Yeah. What's your secret? And I'll be like, I hate mattresses.
You send them a link. It's like, check this out. That'd be amazing. So how was free comic book day?
It was pretty good. This was back to a little more normal circumstances after the last couple of years. We still did everything kind of outside. Tried to spread everything out a little bit. Didn't do the up close face painting or any of the
I got my
personable.
face painted when I was there.
That was unauthorized. That was an independent contractor.
Whoa.
Had a good crowd, almost 300 people through the door. Lots of happy faces. Good sales day. So, yeah, all around a good success. And had the fewest leftover books I've ever had. So I usually have a big stack still left over. By the end of the day, the table was pretty well cleaned up. So
That's good.
lots of books out there floating around.
Nice. Yeah, we went down. I took the nephews down. We brought some cans of corn for the food pantry. And I asked them a couple of days later if they'd read any. That they each answered, yeah, they had. One said they read this, and one said they read that, and both were the things that I actually paid for. I was like, oh, of course, the ones that cost money, that's the ones you wanted to read. But they liked it.
Well, they did embarrass you a little bit, I know.
Yeah, they wanted to know where the hell Dog Man was at. And I was like, if I know Jordan, he doesn't have any. And you did, but they'd already read it.
It's hard to get new
basic-
Dogman. Everyone they read the new Dogman the minute it comes out. You can't get them new enough.
Basic bitch comic book nephews.
So mainstream. That was what I thought. I was like,
they
that
got
kid's so mainstream.
Never again.
Never again.
It was nice, and the guys from the restaurant next door were outside hanging around when I was out there straightening stuff up, and the one goes, "Do you do this a lot?" I was like, just once a year. Oh, okay.
They thought they were in for something, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this guy and his Dogman comic books out here on the sidewalk every day.
He's going to be hawking those every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
was good. Good time. Yeah, I went to my Neil Gaiman, an evening with Neil Gaiman this week, which was cool. Up in Cleveland.
Whole evening?
It was, didn't spend the whole evening with him. But, yeah. Went up there. Oh, we stopped at that. Have you ever been to GV Artwork, Cliff?
Oh,
It's where I've been getting all that Cleveland stuff.
I know.
Almost bought you a Bernie Kosar shirt, but I wasn't sure whether you'd wear it or not.
I actually have a Bernie Kosar shirt from them.
Yeah, that's why I thought of you. Okay, so that's probably it. Yeah. There's a couple different ones.
Okay.
One, he's pretty permy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got a couple shirts. I got the Jake shirt, and I got the 95 lineup shirt.
Nice.
With my fave player ever, Kenny Lofton, on there.
Yeah, that's a really cool store.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. And yeah, we went and saw Neil Gaiman, and it was great. We were the first ones there.
Oh,
I went in. I was like, "Wait, is this?"
I thought it was a morning with Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
We're gonna be here all day.
Well, we got there. I was like,
"We're gonna go to Tudor's Biscuit World."
I figured they opened opened the doors an hour before, which they did. But we got there like a half hour before that, and there was like no one there.
Wow.
It's in this really nice building, just gorgeous building with theaters in it and stuff. And we were outside these doors. I was like, man, this is weird. And then so we walked into this little bar and paid way too much for a beer and walked back. And we were still the first ones in line.
Yeah.
We kind of created our line. And then within 10 minutes, there was a billion people behind us. Go in and get some signed books and go in and watch him.
So was he? Did you? Was he sitting there signing, or they took your?
He was
stuff?
back sign. He went to he has it all set up. He's got it slick, but he just deals with a local bookstore. Usually a indie type bookstore, and has them order a bunch of his stuff, and then he comes in and signs all of it, and they bring it there to the venue. He sits backstage or whatever and signs them. And as he signs them, they bring them out, start stacking them on tables for you to buy, because he just doesn't have time to sit there and talk to everybody. And anyway, so I was able to buy like 4 or 5 books that I didn't have, wanted to read anyway, and probably
A little bit of a bummer. You can't take something of your own, like something that has meaning
yes,
for
yeah.
you. But
Or I would have took a comic.
again, it would have been all day with Neil
Right,
Gaiman. Like,
right. He also did a thing where they had a table there with just index cards, and I had been following him on Twitter and knew that this was how it worked, but it was just like fill out it had an index card, you just write a question on it and put it in a basket or whatever, and then he gets them backstage, looks through them,
picks them
and
out.
then he brings the whole thing out with him on stage, and he just goes through them in between little readings he does and answers questions, which was real interesting. And now he goes, I used to have people traditionally people line up to a microphone, like, you've seen a million times on The Office. That's how they did it.
That's immediately what I thought.
Under Mifflin was going bankrupt. They had to line up. But anyway, he's like, but of course that takes more time, and everybody. He's like, and one time we had a guy that like really he said this question this guy asked, and he's like, I know he said that was enough of that. So this worked way better. He had some good anecdotes and things. He pointed out someone had asked what his first published thing was, and he said, well, the first thing that he wrote that got published was he was working for some magazine, and they asked him to do a biography of a band, and they gave him 3 choices. I can't remember what the other 2 were, but he picked Duran Duran. So this was in the mid 80s or whatever, and he was explaining how he had to do that pre-internet, had to come up with where they came from and everything, and then he wrote the thing. And so while he was in town in Cleveland this week, he went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they had him sign their copy of the book he wrote about Duran Duran. It's like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
At one point, somebody asked him about George Perez and Neil Adams, and he kind of he was nice, but he really kind of just like, well, George Perez is great, yeah, but
he didn't want to talk about that.
He clearly much more loved Neil Adams, and he was like, and he read this unpublished Batman poem, he called it. It was like went on for like 10 minutes and had some neat moments in it. It was pretty cool to hear that. He had his Neil Gaiman reader, which is one of the books I bought, which probably I almost didn't get it, but I'm really glad I did. It had like people had voted on his like top 50 short stories. So he collected all like the favorites from his different collections and stuff. And I got a signed copy of that. And then I wrote on the pages, like excerpts from the Batman poem I remembered. And I wrote, at one point he read a tattoo. Someone wanted him to compose a tattoo. This was how he finished the show. And they said they were going to have David Mack put it on, tattooed on their back. And he's like, well, he's never going to do that. He goes, so I might as well write it. So he read this really cool thing. And he's like, of course, then that person went to David Mack and said, Neil Gaiman wrote this. And so the guy actually has the tattoo of this, but it's a really cool poem. And it was just a great time. Good time. I don't remember anything else. He read several different things and told some good stories.
The only other thing I did over the last month was an evening with Bigfoot I spent. Ohio,
that's right. I forgot about
Ohio that. Bigfoot conference at the Salt Fork State Park.
No show again?
Yeah, we were hoping. This event, the week after they posted, they estimated about 5,000 people through the doors. So I mean, it's a huge. Salt Fork is big.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land mass there, but in one building, that's a lot of people to shuffle through there. But it usually takes place the weekend of Free Comic Book Day, so I usually am not able to go. But this year it was the weekend before, My older nephew had baseball games all day, but my younger nephew had the day off, so I took him up. Me and him went, and it was fun. It just you basically can't get in to hear the speakers and their presentations. Those you have to get a ticket for that, and those sell out instantly. But there's like a big vendor flea market that takes up 3 floors of the lodge, and it's tons and tons of vendors selling handmade crafts and books and stickers and t-shirts and all kind of crazy stuff. Anything with a Bigfoot on it you could imagine they were selling. So got to meet 3 of the 4 cast members of Finding Bigfoot were there. I had met 2 of them previously, and the 2 I hadn't met were there. So I got a poster with all 4 of them on it, and now I have all 4 of their signatures. So that's a big deal.
And now you can die. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to that we've all had the chance in the last couple of months to finally get out and do a few things.
It was definitely the most crowded room I've been in the last 2 years, for sure.
Yeah, I feel you. We'd went to Columbus last month and to go to that Burt Kreischer show, and we stayed at a hotel downtown, kind of just walking distance, couple block, or not, maybe a block from the theater. And so we just kind of waited around, and we didn't go real early or anything, and just thought, oh, it's about 25 minutes till the show starts. We better head on out here. And as soon as we got to around that theater, it was just a massive line of people, and I was just like, holy cow, I have not been around this many people in forever, number one, but how big is this theater? Can it even hold all these people? And I was pretty impressed, but my point is, it was nice to get out and be able to, feel like a member of society again. So I can't wait for summer.
Everybody kept their shirts on.
Bert definitely did not. The minute he walked on stage, shirt came off. Everybody screamed and applauded for some reason.
I heard Neil Gaiman did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yep.
So, anyways, I'm headed to Columbus tomorrow night. Gonna be there this weekend for some volleyball stuff for my daughter, but we'll be at the Columbus Convention Center, and I'm thinking if I can get a chance to slip on down to that big fun toy store, it's right next door. I may do that. So see what I can find.
How many more Ewoks do you need?
Need a few. I got a few that are incomplete, that need accessories, but I got a few. I got a village up here.
It takes
one. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we've been up to during our mini hiatus. The other thing, a pretty big movie opened, so we figured we should talk about that while it's still somewhat fresh. I haven't really had a chance to talk details yet of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Someone once told me that the reality I thought I knew was just one of many.
Be careful which path you travel down. Stronger than you have lost their way.
You think there will be no consequences? We're in the end game now.
I sacrificed everything, and it meant nothing.
Oh, Strange, what have you done? I never meant for this to happen.
You cannot control everything. You brought this on yourself.
You break the rules and become a hero. I do it and I become the enemy. This doesn't seem fair.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Rated PG-13. Be the first to see the mind-bending phenomenon.
So we all saw it, correct?
Yes.
I went the Thursday night that it opened, 9:40 showing, something like that, and there were maybe 20 people.
Really?
Marietta
didn't have that Spider-Man crowd, huh?
Yeah, I'm guessing the 7:00 showing was a little stronger, and most people probably waited till Friday and the weekend. But as I said, it was free comic book day weekend, so I had to go on Thursday. But I don't know, it's not an event anymore. A Marvel movie is not a big, crowd rousing thing in Marietta, at least.
They've become too common. Because I remember years ago when I think it was like Iron Man 2 or something that had come out. We had went to go see it, and there was like a guy in an Iron Man suit like in the lobby, like hanging out. You could take pictures and stuff, and
they used to do actual midnight showings. Like you had to wait till midnight. Now they're just like, whatever, open on Thursday, open on Wednesday.
Yeah, I watched it till like 3:00 or 4:00. Yeah.
So yeah, I waited a few days before I could get a chance to go, but I went, I think about a week after it opened. And
so we know you are not, Doctor Strange is low on your list of Marvel movies.
Yeah,
Marvel characters.
Right. I didn't care much for that first movie. I think I've only seen it the one time, never rewatched it or anything.
I'm the same. I didn't love that. I'm not a fan, honestly, of Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I agree.
He would not be. I like Doctor Strange,
and
he's not exactly what I was looking for. But
yeah, it's funny because the week leading up to it, I had that thought. Because I'm the same way. I maybe watched it a second time, on cable or whatever. But I thought, I should probably rewatch Doctor Strange. And then I thought, so much has happened. That's just the origin story.
Yeah.
We've had Avengers movies and WandaVision. Like there's so much. Spider-Man. We've had so much other stuff has happened. I don't know that anything that happened in the first movie, really, except maybe Baron Mordo.
Yeah.
Even which really matters.
We got a totally different Baron Mordo in this. Like it did.
So I didn't even bother rewatching the first one. I think we're light years beyond that by now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are going to spoil the movie. Obviously, there's a few fun little cameos and moments. So if you haven't seen it, we don't want to spoil it for you. So maybe check it out later. But from here on out, we're going to spoil the movie. So this is Sam Raimi, director. This is his first movie in 9 years. Oz the Great and Powerful was his last movie 9 years ago.
Big fan.
This movie opened exactly 20 years to the week of the original Spider-Man movie. So 2002, like May 3rd, something like that. 2002 was Spider-Man. May 5th or 6th, whatever it was, this year was Doctor Strange. So 2 decades removed from Spider-Man, he comes back to the Marvel universe.
Comes back with some tentacles climbing on a building.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I had pretty low expectations for this, but like I enjoyed it. I don't know, maybe it was just the low expectations, but I think there was 1 or 2 other people in the theater saw it down at the mall. Just because that was my chance to go. Carly needed to shop for a dress, and I was like, I'm going to go see this movie. And no, I came out of it and I was pretty happy with it. I was, content with it. Like, okay, maybe I don't hate Doctor Strange as a whole anymore after that first movie, but yeah,
I was like kind of I had been irritated since No Way Home at the end, where they surprised us with basically a trailer for this movie at the end of it, and that annoyed me because I've been trying to avoid trailers. But it turns out that trailer was kind of a fake out. Like it made it. If you watch that now, it does not go along with what the actual story was of this movie at all.
Yeah,
and so that was.
I saw Raimi had said they were late putting this movie together. They were still writing it as they were filming. Like it wasn't because I think this was supposed to come out before Spider-Man was the original grand plan.
Yeah.
And then COVID and everything else. So I at this moment they're kind of as seat of their pants as Marvel and Disney gets on these things. I think
Right.
this current wave is a little bit.
But I thought it was the first one of these that you could see the director in the movie. Like, it was very Raimi, that was a big deal. And I that's the thing I like the most about it, and how they leaned into the grotesque and the horrific, which I wish they had done that all along. They started out with her being kind of weird, witchy, or or her early showing up, and got away from it, and now they kind of leaned into it a couple spots. So I was not even sure. I did not even know that she was going to be the villain in this movie. Like, I wasn't under that impression from anything I had seen, which wasn't much. But so when it turned out to basically just being her, I was like, oh, well, okay, this is pretty neat.
My expectations were low because I was afraid it was going to try to be too much. It was going to be all cameos and all Easter eggs and all weird and wacky and crazy, and look what we can do. And I was genuinely surprised by how simple it was. The story is she wants her kids back. Like, it wasn't, we hinted at the incursions and whatever that leads to, but that's going to get more complicated down the line, I think. But yeah, it was a fairly straightforward story for being cosmic and multiversal in scope. The stakes were very simple, which with these kind of movies, I'm always afraid that it's going to get bogged down in the mumbo jumbo and the pseudoscience and the witchcraft and all that stuff. But the plot was very, very straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I was just going to say that I think because I waited a week to see it, I kind of knew Wanda was pretty much the villain in it. I didn't expect, for the most part. I had little things in there. I kind of knew, okay, we all kind of knew there were going to be some cameos and stuff in there, but it really didn't ruin it.
Big spoiler. John Krasinski dies of extreme hot dog fingers, Jordan.
All right, who did this? I'm not mad. I just want to know who did it so I can punish them.
What are you talking about?
Someone forged medical information, and that is a felony.
Okay, whoa. All right, because that's a pretty intense accusation.
Yeah.
How do you know that they're fake?
Leprosy, flesh-eating bacteria, hot dog fingers.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was that's the big scene, like, in the movie where we get the Illuminati.
So at least Seth and I are very trailer phobic recently. I avoid. I'll maybe watch a teaser or watch the first one, and then
you just can't watch. You can't watch
the
past
commercials
the
on TV. Yeah. I don't look for stuff. I'm trying not to be militant or angry about it, and like, But I don't want to know. But this, and then once I've seen it, I'll watch a commercial or go back and watch a trailer.
Right.
And like, they were showing, you heard Patrick Stewart's voice. You saw the arm of the hover chair, and they, like, a couple days before the movie, press releases, Patrick Stewart confirmed in the movie. It's like, why is that important, especially 2 days before the movie? Why did we have to know that?
Yeah.
But and again, this is one of those movies people expected so much. We had that Tom Cruise as Iron Man thing like a year ago, and it only got weirder from there. People expecting the X-Men to show up, Fantastic Four to show up. Who knows who was going to show up? But I know at least one customer, they had confirmed the Illuminati were going to be in it. So that apparently was the online chatter. Everyone wanted to know who was in the Illuminati, what were they going to do, how important were these characters going to be, and what curveballs were they going to throw. So that really, to me, ended up being the biggest Easter eggy thing in that scene. I don't know that was entirely crucial, but it was, it was fun.
Yeah, but it was a fun thing to do. It was fun to have the Illuminati be there for a second and watch them all get killed to show how powerful she is. But also, like,
when they played that,
it wasn't a
93 theme. I was just like, oh my god.
It wasn't. I mean, those were some pretty big home runs of characters and casting to get in there. I mean, Patrick freaking Stewart was there. John Krasinski, this fan casting, they did it.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't know
her,
Agent
Carter in the flesh.
So yeah, I don't know where half of this stuff begins. Does it begin with fan rumors? Does it begin with set leaks? Does it, how did people know John Krasinski was going to be Reed Richards? Did they will it into existence?
Or did they do it after the fact? Like the Tom Cruise thing was actually it was a thing, like that was there's always been the thing, how they originally would cast these movies. There was always the thing, Brad Pitt's Captain America, Tom Cruise is Iron Man. And so fans ran with that and started, would they do this? And they actually were going to try to do it for this, but he was busy with Mission Impossibles, as he always is. Or they might have tried, got away with it, but they still feel like they nailed it with everybody they did have in it. I agree.
I think the biggest surprise out of the whole scene for me, honestly, was the fact that they brought back Anson Mount as Black Bolt. I was just like,
see, he's like the third Spider-Man. We got to give him another shot. Get him back here. Yeah. He did his best.
I was like, what is happening? I can't believe they've got
crazy.
This guy.
That's awesome. So I don't think this means though that Krasinski's going to freaking be Reed Richards whenever they do come back to the Fantastic Four. In fact, I would be surprised. This is just
but I want
alternate reality.
I want that. That's funny because I watched Quiet Place Part 2 just debuted on Prime, and I just watched that after watching this and having that fan casting in my mind. I'm like, Emily Blunt would be a great Sue Richards. So I'm watching that whole movie, imagining her with invisibility powers. Those monsters would never get him.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
I thought he looked great. I don't know that I felt like he did any great.
No, there was nothing special about
it. But he did look great. He did look great. But
there's an easy out of this being another dimension. You can keep those characters and bring them back, or you can never see them again, and there's no continuity problem.
I feel like it's more likely he directs the Fantastic Four movie before he stars in it.
But I saw a thing just today, Haley Atwell talking about a Captain Carter show on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So people are responding to that character. I was a little surprised that Captain Marvel was Lashana Lynch, who played Maria Rambeau in the Captain Marvel movie.
Right.
And it wasn't Teyonah Paris, who was Monica.
I was thrown by that. By that also.
Again, it's an alternate reality. It doesn't matter. But that's not the Captain Marvel I would have expected. But
not my Captain. Right. I hear you, Jordan. Your usual mantra.
So yeah, that was a fun scene. I don't know. I think your review was something like Sam Raimi kind of saved a kind of a bland story.
That was just my initial reaction. I actually wish I'd watched it again, but now I'll just wait and watch it because I really liked it.
Yeah,
I did, and so I'm higher on it maybe even than I was at the time. But I thought it was fun. It was really fun, and I liked Doctor Strange's stuff. He's just not my favorite version of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I thought they did enough with it to be
the stuff with freaking what's her face, Rachel McAdams. Is that her name?
Yeah.
She, it's just it was so strange, no pun intended, but it's just you had to, first off, people had to remember her,
right?
Or it meant nothing. And then that alternate reality where she's doing, this other stuff. And it just seemed so weird. And then people I did like the Raiminess of him burying the body.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was like, "Is this something?" And man, that was cool, and that was cool. There had to be a zombie in there.
That was amazing,
or whatever. And I don't know about the dream walking was an interesting concept. Our dreams are multiverse things. Is that that was kind of interesting. What did you guys think of America Chavez? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Because I have a theory.
Um,
Not a whole lot to go on. Kind of a very archetype, a young hero discovering their powers, but not a whole lot of personality to begin with.
I think that go on. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, the only reference I have of that character myself is from like one of those Disney cartoons where they kind of did like I don't even know which cartoon it was, but I remember it had her and I think like Squirrel Girl and a few of the younger heroes were in some kind of group.
Yeah.
Now, I'd watched a few episodes of that. That was really the only like thing I knew her from.
Well, this is clearly another one of those characters they're bringing out for whenever they get to Young Avengers or whatever they're going to do.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought.
But the rapport like between her and him was not. I feel like they're desperately going for that Tony Stark, Peter Parker thing, and they didn't get that at all between the young character, old character. But you mentioned that these were out of order, and that explains a lot, because I think this was supposed to be first, and then all this freaking portal stuff Ned was doing in Spider-Man would have been her. I bet she would have been in that movie, because that made no sense that he was going portal crazy in that movie. He was the one that had to get everybody around, and that is literally her power, so
yeah,
I feel like that could have been a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was so weird to have. We just had a movie where Doctor Strange mentors a young kid in Spider-Man. We do it again. We just had WandaVision, however many episodes that was, of her coming to grips with her kids, and then we do a whole other thing where, so I did this even fit with WandaVision? I know we left her looking for her kids, and you can write all this off as the Darkhold, tainted her, made her evil, whatever. But did this? I don't know. I like WandaVision so much. I don't want this movie to taint any of that.
I definitely felt
I don't know
the,
that it did,
the lack
it just seemed like it kind of undercut where we left WandaVision. Maybe her as a powerful character.
Well, them not including Vision.
She didn't. That's the problem with the whole thing. Is that it would have had the stakes we all would have been far more invested, especially people that didn't watch WandaVision. If she'd have been going back to a family that Vision was in the house, but he's not getting paid to do that. Apparently they don't want to pay him, or they didn't want to do it. Bringing that character back would feel awkward at this time, but it would have been more, it would have got us more into it. Than just these kids that aren't great actors,
Throw Vision in the Illuminati. Like, she would have to. Would she kill Vision?
Yeah,
oh, there's a twist.
You're right. That including him in this movie would have made
in
the stakes
some way.
The stakes would have been way higher.
But I have no problem. Elizabeth Olsen acts circles around everyone else in this movie. Yeah. She is phenomenal as a hero or a villain. Put her in any Marvel thing you want to do. I love the Scarlet Witch. I love her as an actress. She's incredible.
Yeah, she's.
But I had someone say to me, "Man, I can't believe they killed her," and I had to think, "Wait, did she die in this movie?" Like,
they buried her.
No thought of that being a permanent thing. No. But like, so I don't know if there's people out there who assume she's gone forever. That thought apparently never crossed my mind.
Yeah, they just buried her under stuff. They buried Doctor Strange too, and he got dug up in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I liked it. The more I talk about it and stuff, the more I'm like, it's never going to be anywhere in my top half of Marvel movies, but it was another solid thing that didn't get too big for its britches.
Right.
It kept it to this small story, and focused on her, which it was the right focus. So
I just thought I came out of it, and Carly asked me what I thought, and I said it was fun. I said it was kind of crazy because it was very much, trying to be that sequel to WandaVision, or that sequel to What If, or
trying to pay off some of that stuff.
Yeah.
If you were there for that, if you watched it, you got something, and yet again, it wasn't necessary to have watched those things to have got something out of this. What about Clea?
That's that's a cool character, but I don't know. At this point, it just feels like who's famous that hasn't been in Marvel yet.
Right.
Get him on the phone.
It's like it was just like that's a big get for them. Like I'm sure that they were very proud of themselves to have Charlize Theron show
Which I
up.
love her. She's been in a lot of really great stuff. Like she should be headlining a movie of herself.
Right.
But
So how long till you get to around to that? Like how far down the road? Right. That's the biggest thing about this. Where are we in phase 4? Does any of this lead to? By this time in the previous, we knew who the villain was. We knew everything. Like this is a clusterfuck. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there doesn't seem.
But it's not as bad. Again, it could have been worse. I feel like they could have made a much bigger mess. We could have introduced a million other characters and a million past, present, future. Let's bring in Nick Cage's Ghost Rider and throw in this and all this. And how many Punishers have there been? Let's put all the Punishers in the movie. Like that's what I kind of feared and expected, and on some level would have enjoyed.
Right.
But we gotta do.
He admits it partly.
Oh, I would have loved it.
Not my Ghost Rider.
No, but so I feel like the biggest takeaway is going to be this idea of the incursions, because this was the thing Jonathan Hickman's like years-long run on Avengers.
I was proud because yes, it's been all over the freaking internet after this movie, Secret Wars, and I thought I when I saw the movie that wasn't being talked about, but there was that moment in the movie I was like, when they said about multiverses colliding and only one surviving or whatever, I was like, that's Hickman's Secret Wars. I was like, that got me hyped that could be coming.
So Jonathan Hickman introduced this idea when they wanted to clean up Marvel's multiverse and they wanted to integrate all the ultimate characters like Miles Morales. They wanted to bring him into the regular Marvel universe and streamline things. He had this long storyline that involved these things called incursions, where the Illuminati discover there's other realities crashing into each other, and only one survives the impact until there's going to just be one left. So it's this struggle to heroes, to protect our universe where we destroy another universe. Is that the heroic thing to do? So it was a long, complicated storyline, but by the end of it, we got Secret Wars, which was similar to the 80s Secret Wars, where we just threw all the heroes and villains together to fight. It was kind of like that, but a little more heady, a little more sci-fi. So that would be my guess where it's heading. The multiverses are starting to collide. It's going to keep causing problems, and it's all going to have to end with a big giant secret.
I'm into it. If that's where we're headed, when I saw that, I was like, that was the first time I was excited about possibly where it was going. It's like, because I think they can do it better than Hickman. I think they can do it and interest me even more than that did. So I'm pretty hyped about that thought. Once again, you're right, Jordan, that I was like, you're like, we're going to talk about Dr. Strange. I was like, I have literally nothing to say about this movie. And we've been on and on.
Yeah.
I'm just excited. Like we've said, these superhero movies don't all have to be the same.
Yeah.
We like Winter Soldier. It's more of an espionage movie. You can do a comedic movie. You can do a sci-fi movie with Guardians. This was a horror movie. These movies can be lots of different genres. And like I said, I think Sam Raimi was the perfect choice. That zombie Doctor Strange was evil Ash from Army of Darkness. Like even the makeup looked like evil Bruce Campbell. So the homework I would give,
what is it?
Instead
Pizza
of rewatch
Papa?
Pizza Papa. If there was somebody, what Marvel movies do I need to watch to understand this? I would say no. Watch Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. That'll help you.
I've never seen any of those.
Really?
I've never watched any of them.
Wow.
When you guys talk about Ash and stuff, I don't know nothing. I mean, I know I've seen clips and stuff, but I've never watched any of them.
Wow.
So that's a very famous scene in Evil Dead 2 where Ash is infected with evil, with his hand turns evil, and he has to fight his own hand. So it's punching, it's slapsticky, it's doing the Three Stooges thing, and whoa, 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 whoa. So he has to fight. So this was kind of a riff on an old gag Bruce Campbell used to do, a very comedic thing. And we got the Delta 88, the Oldsmobile that Sam Raimi puts in all his movies, we got that as well as a cameo. So
Yeah, so they're just going to make a giant mess in order to clean it all up real nice.
Have a crisis. Gotta have a crisis.
That's exactly where I was going. I was like, man, this is the most DC thing yet. Let's blow up the multiverse and then bring it all back in. So,
I mean, that makes a lot of sense as far as like where.
Yeah.
You wonder if they had any idea they were doing that when they took that first step into this phase.
Well, and it's a good idea because of us fans that have been saying, well, what about the Daredevil show? What about, Luke Cage and all that stuff and that they were doing over there that we really liked. And then
everything's everything everywhere is a multiverse now. Like every show on TV, everything wants to do this now. It's like, cause it's kind of a neat idea.
So
I did see a meme that the quote across the top was, I was a little let down. The Doctor Strange didn't meet my expectations.
Yeah.
And it said my expectations. And it was a collage of, it had Rambo and aliens and like
Star Trek and
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So
Wolverine. Yeah. What if you expected, again, the curse of the Marvel fan, we all want everything right now, and we want it all in a big soup. And this wasn't that. So enjoy it for what it was.
Yep. All right. We did it.
Well, I will say there's one other thing. I'm going to bring it back from the top of the show because it just popped in my head.
You love mattresses.
I wanted to let everybody know, if you're like Justin Lowe and you're headed down to Florida, that Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot is finally open.
This is an SOS from Novacore.
Everything is disappearing.
Our outpost on Earth's Epcot is in danger.
Hey, Quill, this thing is so broken.
Help the galaxy before we
Quill, you seeing this? Quill! Well, you heard the lady. Get to Epcot. It's Save the Galaxy time. Again.
Finally open to the public. The Universe of Energy closed, I think, in 2018, I think. So it's been 4 years to get this frickin' ride done. But it looks great. It's getting really good reviews, and of course, we've already jumped online on YouTube and watched the POV videos through the ride, and it's pretty neat. It's a coaster. It spins around as it goes through, and it's a little Space Mountain-y. And they play, some classic James Gunn rock and roll tunes through it.
While you're there, get an ice cream maker. And at Batu, $50. Isn't that how much they are?
Yeah. You can get your own. What do they call? I was trying to think of the word. Katano, or is that right?
I don't know. It holds all your Beskar. You can put your own code into it.
Yeah.
But you can put your own baby in there.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So love it.
That's right.
Hope to get a report from Justin when he gets back about his first time on Batu, the new Guardians ride, and a whole bunch of other stuff happening down there, and some construction updates, I hope. So we'll see.
Alrighty, so that catches you up on what we've been up to in this Multiverse of Madness, and we will see you next time on the podcast of Pandemonium. My name is Jordan Lowe of Earth Prime.
Cliff Barnes
of the Multiverse of Mattress. You saw it coming when I said I'm set. Bye forever. You said that, I was like, yes, Multiverse of Mattress. It just came to me. You could have been promoting that all along, Cliff.
I could
have been just crushing it. Jeez. In one universe, you love mattresses, and one you hate them.
Right.
You're evil, Cliff.
Yes, you've got to do like a series of you fighting a Cliff that hates mattresses.
I get me a little Doctor Strange cape.
Yeah.
Slick back my hair in one.
Yeah. And to throw in a Navi Cliff too.
Yeah.
It has a waterbed. Likes waterbeds.
Oh shit.
Oh, the way of the water. You could go lay on a waterbed and do your Navi thing.
I wish. God, I can't imagine.
Amazing. It's not too
late. You need
a
green screen. You gotta borrow. You gotta go borrow Michael's green.
It is not too late to do this. You're gonna be there all week.
That's right.
You got extended hours. You gotta fill them.
Mm-hmm. So we got Free Comic Book Day. Wrap up. Gaming. I don't think I've done anything else. I've done nothing but work, so gotta work the next. Carly's
had a Memorial Day sale for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, seriously.
It'll be Arbor Day before you know it.
Yeah, that's right. Plant them trees. And Carly just said a few minutes ago, she's like, something about, she wants to go watch the Bob's Burgers movie. She's like, it's only in theaters March 20 or May 28th or something. I was like, that doesn't mean it only plays for one day. She's like, it says only in theaters on May 28th. I was like,
she would like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I was like,
you could have a father-daughter moment.
I don't know. I'm torn by. I don't know what Cliff's opinion of that movie would be.
I know what you're saying, but then I think fucking Short Round is in it, and he's gonna like that. Short Round is gonna keep him focused.
No,
I looked it up. I was looking on IMDb today, and I didn't realize, who else was in it. Biff Whiff, that guy who was in Dave episode.
He was in it. He
played Santa Claus and the Tim Robinson thing.
Yeah, I remember at that time thinking, hey, that's that guy from
Biff Whiff.
That's funny.
I didn't know his name. Jean Ponce.
Yeah, I've got to work I'm off Sunday, and then I'm off. I think I'm off Sunday, Monday, and then I'm working all the way basically to June. And we're running extended hours all Memorial Day weekend. And I'm just like, I'm already tired. Just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, memory foam. That's what Memorial Day is all about.
Yeah,
Memorial.
Definitely.
Memorial foam.
Definitely. God. So sick of mattresses.
I like when somebody says something really basic that's like very profound. I am so sick of mattresses.
He's over it.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast @gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.